The Nigerian publishing sector is an interesting one considering its diverse makeup and how critical it is in nation building. Recently in Lagos, publishers got together for their annual conference to deliberate on matters affecting the publishing sector and the book culture in Nigeria. We were there. Here's a report. Books, the building blocks of education, can form the basis of development and national integration for Nigeria. This was the central theme of the Nigeria Publishers Association's annual conference held recently in Lagos. Publishers and policymakers in the book industry gathered to deliberate on the theme, the book, an instrument for national integration.
When he said paper was invented in China, my colleagues asked me.
It was a time to be reminded of the critical role of the book in nation building as speakers explored the theme of the event.
A well-informed society is the one with better education. And when we are talking of education, we are talking of development. An uneducated environment will never attract any development at all, which could only come via the book.
I take MPA and all publishing houses as real great partners in executing one of the most important mandates of my council. And I think among all the government institutions, Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council is the most, if you like, critical stakeholder as far as publishing is concerned.
Writers and intellectuals can play an important role in national integration by publishing good literature against the injustices, imbalances, feudalism, negative aspects of tribalism, and other important issues in a bid to promote national integration in the country.
For me, I believe that despite our cultural and ethnic diversity, as well as prevailing political and economic situations, Nigerians have a sense of belonging and patriotism, which can still be improved upon through the publication of relevant materials on national integration and harmony.
Resolutions were reached, awards were shared, and there was even an opportunity for young poets to perform. The consensus was that Nigeria must place the highest priority on developing a vibrant book and education culture for her to become truly integrated and evolve into a leading country in the Committee of Nations.
When we are talking of education, education is synonymous to development. And uneducated society will not attract any development. The medium at which you can get this is just through books. And I said this, I said, it's one thing for you to have that book, it's another thing for you to read the book.
This is a meeting of the publishers. It's a publishing association of Nigeria, and they are our partners in seeing to the production of instructional materials for the country. So it is a very, very important meeting for the educational system.
Perhaps one reason why Nigeria is getting more and more known internationally as a country that produces talented writers is the fact that some of the leading literary prizes on the African continent are organized in Nigeria. One of those prizes is the Wole Soyinka Prize for Literature, and its latest winners just emerged. Professor Tanure Ojaide and Harriet Anena have emerged as the joint winners of the Wole Soyinka Prize for Literature 2018. The prize is worth $10,000 and is awarded every 2 years to the best book written by an African. Sefiata, Nnedi Okorafor, and Wale Okediro are some of those who won the prize in the past. This year's edition of the prize was for poetry, and there were 110 submissions from 11 countries in Africa. Tanure Ojaide, who won for his work, Songs of Myself is a Nigerian poet and writer. He has won major awards like the Commonwealth Poetry Prize for the Africa region, the BBC Arts and Africa Poetry Award, the All Africa Okigbo Prize for Poetry, and the Association of Nigerian Authors Poetry Prize. Harriet Anena, who won based on her work, A Nation in Labour, is a Ugandan and has been shortlisted for her prose in the Commonwealth Short Story Prize 2018 and the Short Story Day Africa 2017 longlists. You must have heard of the new book just written and published by Nigeria's ex-president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Now, check these two copies out. One of them is pirated and the other one is original. It's pretty difficult to know the difference. I was in traffic a few days back and I saw some book hawkers selling this, which is the pirated copy. So I then bought one for 2,500 naira. It ranges from between 2,000 and 3,500 naira, depending on how you negotiate with them. So here's a copy. Not because I read pirated copies, I don't. But I was curious to know the difference between the pirated copy and the original. Now, the original I bought a few days after for 5,600 naira. Again, depends on where you buy this. So 5,600 naira original copy, 2,500 naira pirated copy, which is selling like hot cake, on the streets. So now you can hardly know the difference unless you look very carefully. One is slightly longer than the other. The covers are almost the same, perhaps with the exception of a slight an outline right there on the pirated copy. The original one does not have much of that. You can see here. Okay. Now, when you flip through the pages, you now see some significant differences. For example, the pictures in here, the photos in here are colored. So here's a colored picture inside. But in the pirated copy, the pictures in there are black and white. Let me check out one example here. Okay, so here we go. So this is black and white. So the pictures in the original are colored. The pictures in the pirated copies are black and white. But the texts are basically the same. Now, a lot of Nigerians buy pirated copies because they're cheaper, they're easily accessible, they are on the streets. But the original copies, you find them in bookshops, you find them with book distributors, and so on. There is no way any modern economy can grow when there's piracy. Piracy is a major problem in Nigeria right now. It's a problem we have to tackle. And the former president spoke about this some days back when he complained after his book. The pirated copies came out just about 2 days or a day after his book was launched. Now, imagine the number of writers and authors who are not as privileged as our ex-presidents, who live on their writings and their books, who suffer. They suffer serious losses due to piracy. We had an author here on the show some weeks back, who said he lost close to about 20 million based on piracy. Imagine that. So we need to stop this. It has to stop. If you drive past those who sell this on the roads, do not buy from them. It doesn't matter if they are cheaper. It hurts our country when we buy pirated copies, and it's something we need to deal with. One of these days, we are going to do an extensive session on how destructive piracy is on the Nigerian economy. You may think it doesn't concern you because you're not the writer or the author or the publisher, but these things have a boomerang effect on the entire economy. So, original, pirated, costs more to buy the original, but please go for the original. Not just for this book, but for every book out there. Let's tackle piracy. As always, we look forward to getting your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. I am Olakunle Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.